Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Divya Tarial. I work with Sustainable Energy for All, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar, convened by UN Energy and supported by SE for All. Today, as most of you know, we launched the Energy Compact annual report in September during the UNGA High Level Week. But we are doing the series of webinars to discuss the progress that we've achieved so far on SDG7, which is affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. The specific focus for today's webinar will be from the African continent. You'll hear more about it during the course of this webinar, but we are going to present key findings from the 2025 Energy Compact's annual progress report. This is the fourth edition of the report since the launch of the compacts in 2021. The report offers a comprehensive overview of global progress. And just as one highlight from the report, so far in the last 4 years, in terms of commitments, we've reached a overall commitment of $1.6 trillion towards achieving global energy goals. And against those commitments, this year's report shows a mobilization of $292 billion already mobilized for SDG7. The session today will, as I said, focus on the progress in Africa. And to that end, we have distinguished panelists from Malawi and Rwanda representing the government. But we also have representatives from InfraCredit and IRENA who will showcase their regional leadership achievements and lessons learned through the panel discussion. We hope that this session offers some insight into the progress we've made through the Energy Compact process, and we want to thank all of you who have been part of it, and if you're not already part of it, we encourage you to join. Without any further delay, I'm going to hand this over to my colleague, Sakshi Chandra, who will give you an overview of the Energy Compact progress report. Sakshi, over to you.
Good morning and good afternoon to everyone who's joined us today and to our esteemed panelists. I'm Sakshi Chandra from Sustainable Energy for All, and I am delighted to present highlights from the 2025 Energy Compact's Annual Progress Report, which will focus on the global outcomes, but also highlight regional progress, especially across Africa. Next slide, please. Well, since 2021, governments, companies, and organizations have committed USD 1.6 trillion and already mobilized a large part of it, which is USD 292 billion, showcasing that energy compacts are delivering real progress and that collective action works. But we must now move from billions to trillions each year to deliver universal access and meet our energy and climate goals. This next chapter for compacts calls for broader alignment, deeper investment, and shared leadership to scale this transformation worldwide. Next slide, please. Well, the scale of pledged action continues to grow. So financial commitments from last year have risen from USD 1.4 trillion to USD 1.6 trillion. Targets for electricity access have expanded from 697 million to 734 million people, while commitments for clean cooking access have grown from 331 million to 438 million people. And these numbers reflect a growing ambition and recognition that clean, affordable energy is the foundation for development and climate action. Next slide, please. Today, 215 proponents have joined the Energy Compact movement, including 61 member states and 82 catalytic partnerships. These range from national governments and utilities to the private sector, civil society, and multilateral agencies, all advancing action across electricity, cooking, renewables, and efficiency amongst clean energy. Next slide, please. Energy Compact proponents are involved in a broad spectrum of efforts, so from forming government-wide coalitions to supporting grassroots entrepreneurship. And in the private sector, their influence spans various fields, such as energy, technology, transportation, healthcare, finance, and agriculture. And this also talks to the growing culture of transparency, data-driven reporting, and shared accountability that our energy compacts proponents share across each of these areas. Next slide, please. Now we're going to talk about tracking progress. Next slide, please. Well, the 2025 Energy Compacts Progress Survey drew responses from 81 proponents and really underscoring the network's continued commitment to transparency and collective learning. Over the course of 4 reporting cycles, 4 out of 5 signatories have now reported on their progress at least once, a clear sign of accountability within the compacts community. But most importantly, the 2025 survey achieved its highest completion rate to the date, with half of all eligible proponents submitting the report. I encourage you to go online and access the complete report. Next slide, please. Well, as you can see, energy compacts have demonstrated measurable gains across finance, electricity access, renewables, and efficiency. 284 million people gained electricity access, 33 million gained clean cooking, 301 gigawatts of renewables installed, and each figure, these are not just numbers, but they represent real lives improved and carbon reduced. Next slide, please. So energy compacts are a platform for individual compacts, but at the same time, we also have multi-stakeholder compacts and compacts reporting. 82 multi-stakeholder compacts and proponents within them drive collective action. And these translate partnerships into impacts, ranging from 24/7 carbon-free energy compact to the gender energy compact, to green hydrogen catalog, and many more. Next slide, please. Well, so within the 24/7 CFE compact, you can see that we started the monitoring last year and actually saw its second survey this year. Signatories enabled carbon-free power through procurement, generation, and support services, with 1/3 tracking hourly use. So it's becoming a results-driven movement for real-time clean energy. Next slide, please. As you can imagine, that energy is really the golden thread that connects health, jobs, community, social services, and partnerships. Energy touches every single SDG. 10,000 health facilities gain power, 2.9 million green jobs created, and 26 million people benefit from better health access. Next slide, please. Within the linkages of other SDGs, once you go to the report and read in depth, you'll be able to see and read in more detail, but I'm happy to highlight on this slide the gender integration work that Energy Compacts is doing. So gender equality is gaining ground. Over half of the compacts are now gender responsive or transformative, and gender neutral ones down to 7%. Still, 1/3 of the compacts did not report gender data. A reminder that we must keep improving consistency and transparency. Next slide, please. Similarly, we have a youth indicator, and we make sure that it is cross-cutting across every single compact. So nearly half of the compacts integrate youth at a meaningful level, 28% classified as youth transformative. Youth-led initiatives like Student Energy or Youngo show how young leaders are helping shape the energy transition for today and tomorrow. Next slide, please. Now we move on to a regional spotlight across Africa. And as you can see, we have Mauritius case study online. But Africa has 21 proponents driving change. So from Malawi's off-grid electrification and Rwanda's grid modernization to Mauritius' clean transport efforts. These compacts reflect the continent's ambition and its potential to lead on renewables and inclusive energy development. I encourage you to not just look at Energy Compact Progress Report from this year, but also from the previous years, where we highlight regional work across Africa and other regions through case studies. Next slide, please. Well, thank you so much for your attention. But to close, the message from this year's Energy Compacts report is clear. We've proven that collective action works, but now we must scale it. The energy compacts have shown that when governments, companies, and communities come together, change happens. Light turns on, clean cooking spreads, emissions fall, and opportunities grow. But the next chapter demands even broader collaboration, smarter financing, and stronger regional leadership, especially from the Global South. Because achieving SDG7 is not just about energy access, but also about dignity, opportunity, and shared prosperity. As we look ahead to Clean Energy Day 2026 and COP30, let's use energy compacts as our vehicle to turn ambition into implementation and to ensure that the energy compacts and energy transition truly leaves no one behind. Thank you so much. And now I hand over back to Divya to start our panel discussion.
Thank you, Sakshi. And yeah, thanks for that presentation. And I would encourage each of you, if you haven't yet looked at the Energy Compact report, please go online and download the report and go through it. And we would welcome your feedback or questions if you have any. Now it is my pleasure to welcome the panel. I'm just going to do a brief introduction. We have Mr. Thokozani Nelson Malunga, the Deputy Director for Research and Development from the Ministry of Energy and Government of Malawi. We have Marian Nyerere from the Ministry of Infrastructure, the Government of Rwanda. Tony Uneze, the Head of ESG at InfraCredit. And Simon Ben Maraze, Head of Energy Planning and Modeling from IRENA. Thank you to our panelists for joining. I'm going to start with Malawi. Mr. Thokozani, if I can come to you first. Malawi's energy compact, through the compact, Malawi has committed to achieving universal access to cleaner cooking solutions for the country. Could you briefly give us an overview of the compact goals and what partnerships have been most critical in achieving the results? Sir, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you very much, the moderator. For Malawi, I think is the compact on cleaner cooking. We are tackling 2 indicators of SDG. On SDG number 1, rather target number 7.1 or indicator 7.1, we want to achieve universal access to clean cooking solutions for all people in Malawi. And specifically on that one, we want at least by 2030, all rural people, that is 100%, should be able to move or to phase out open fires and transition to efficient wood stoves and other alternatives. And for urban people, we want them to reduce the share of unsustainably produced and burned charcoal and transition to alternative green cooking fuels, and also transition where possible to sustainably produced charcoal. For commercial institutions, for commercial entities and public institutions, we want them actually to transition to sustainable source of fuel, efficient technologies for institutional catering, and also productive use of renewable energy. On indicator number 2, which is 7.2, we want actually to go by what it says, to say we should double the rate of penetration of renewable energy into the global energy mix. Particularly on that one, in the 2021 target, rather compact, we want to target 2 things. Firstly is to decrease the share of non-renewable biomass through sustainable and regulated production and sourcing of mix of cooking fuels, which include renewable biofuels, LPG, and electricity from renewable energy. And number two, we want to increase green economy investment measures for sustainable sourcing and the production of alternative fuels, and also use waste to energy projects for production of biogas, pellets, and briquettes, including provision of appropriate stoves corresponding to each of the fuel types that I've mentioned. These are our goals. Of course, we do report also on the target number 3, which is actually doubling the rate of improvement in the energy efficiency. Particularly there, Malawi is tracking only energy intensity, of which clean cooking can contribute as well. And the target is actually to move from the current energy intensity of 1,665 BTU per US dollars to 897 BTU per US dollars by the year 2030. Now, on the secondary question, you said I should also outline the success or factors that have led to the success of or that have led to the progress that we have made. Is that so? Can I confirm?
Yes, but I will come back to you on that question. But thank you so much for giving us this overview of your clean cooking commitments. And I'm sure that Malawi is also doing so much more on your energy commitments outside of clean cooking as well. And so as part of the Energy Compact process, we also encourage proponents to update their commitments as your commitments evolve as well. And so we would be happy to work with you to also update Malawi's commitments to go beyond clean cooking and the wider SDG7 goals that you have. But thank you so much for your response on this. I'm going to go to our next panelist. Simon, I'll come to you. Arena also has a number of compacts. I think close to 8 or 9 energy compacts with different partners. But I know you represent the one with COA, and if you can just give us an overview of this compact specifically on wind energy and how it relates to the progress against it and your just an overview of the commitments to start with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Divya, and I'm very happy to be with all of you today. My name is Simon Benraz. I work at Arena for about 10 years. I'm the head of energy planning here. And I think I would like to start by saying that it has been a very fruitful experience working and developing an energy compact with the collaborative atmosphere with different organizations. And I think that's even more relevant today as you know, and we know, the global energy landscape is in a profound state of flux, I would say there. The pressure of climate change next week at COP30, energy security, but also economic competitiveness are now reshaping national priority. And amid this turbulence, Arena has been confirming that renewables are the primary driver of any new power generation capacity, and we provide the data that is used for the compact. Just to give you an example, in 2024, about 582 gigawatts of renewable energy capacity were added globally. So this brings about more than 4,000 gigawatts there. And this is a powerful demonstration of momentum that we try to infuse in the compact. And obviously, you mentioned the breadth of compact we are supporting. I think the silver lining is that we want to enable more investment in the field. And our analysis shows that the annual investments of around 1.5 trillion is needed to achieve the 1.5 degree target there. And this is really a huge gap, because in 2023, we showed that investment in renewable capacity only reached about 570 billion. So this is less of half what is required there. And this is precisely our mission and the vision of the Energy Compact. This is where we converge. The compact for us are articulating the what, the target and the goal. And Arena tried with its partner to provide the how, the data, the tools, the platform, and the technical expertise there. And this is where I wanted to essentially highlight the role of one of our energy compact that actually, from its inception, with the work with here, evolved into one of the leading engine of delivery for one of the transformational technology offshore wind. This energy compact is now called the Global Offshore Wind Alliance. This is a compact that was created to really work with countries to develop and scale this technology to achieve the energy transition. Today, offshore wind represent around 83 gigawatts, enough to power around 70 million homes there. And this is only the beginning. Thanks to the compact, this technology has moved from a niche to a mainstream technology. It is today, in a fragmented world, a proven pillar of energy security and a driver of industrial growth and sustainable development. So this is important that through our work on the compact, we are building the foundation for country to build national resilience in a volatile world. I think I also want to acknowledge our partner, GWEC. We co-founded this work, and this translated into the Global Offshore Wind Alliance with the government of Denmark at COP27. And this represents the logical evolution from a statement to intent to a platform of implementation. Today, GOA is the world-leading diplomatic platform for driving offshore wind cooperation and ambition in many countries. Its mission was reaffirmed to transform the potential of turbine into power in countries including the Global South. It works toward political mobilization and the creation of a community of practice. The compact now share insights from global experience to build bankable offshore wind projects in emerging markets. We help developing countries discuss with established countries to de-risk the sector for new entrants, and ensuring that the hard-won lesson from Europe, for example, from the US as well with the new work, are applied to accelerate progress there. And this is really addressing the very real challenge we face today: cost inflation, supply chain pressure, and permitting delays. Thanks to its birth as a compact, we are able now to share best practices on relevant policy and regulatory aspects, auction design, green integration, and sustainable supply chain there. And really here, important, the goal of this compact is reaffirmed to ensure that every government has the tool to set ambitious targets, and also crucially, I like to stop here, the confidence to deliver them.
Thank you so much. And really, the compact really demonstrates the power of partnerships and bringing together a larger body of like-minded organizations focused on a similar goal. And it's really commendable, the work that you're doing through this compact, but through also Arena and several other partners in advancing wind energy. Marion, if I can come to you next. I can't see you on video, but hopefully you can hear us and see us. Rwanda's compact also focuses on clean cooking. Could you maybe describe some of the major milestones achieved in your clean cooking transition, and how you're working with several stakeholders in the country to advance this?
Yes, I'm Marian. I work from the Ministry of Infrastructure, which houses, of course, the energy part portfolio. I think to 2021, we had an energy compact. And of course, we were targeting to achieve at least 42% by then. I think we were at 72% of households that are still using that are not using clean fuels, and our target was to achieve at least 42%. I recall by 2024, that was our national transformation strategy. Unfortunately, we were unable to achieve that. But so far, we had to, looking at the targets that we had set, initially we were supposed to at least have 80% of the rural population force out open fires by accessing more than efficient alternative clean fuels, and at least having at least 50% of urban population and peri-urban using more than efficient cook stoves. So we kind of in 2024, we had to change our indicators to be able to measure it very well, because it was more like a global indicator that wasn't giving us the exact results that we wanted on moving more on cleaner fuels. So we had to disaggregate the targets on what we want to achieve by 2030. Of course, aligning ourselves with the time frame of the Energy Compact, which had to run from 2021 to 2030. So far, we've been able to achieve a good number of people, both in rural settings and urban and peri-urban. By 2021, we were around 17%, and we have actually moved now. We are, as per the census of 2024, we are at 34% of both households, as much as we are targeting also public institutions. But we have achieved 34% of households that we say that these ones are actually using cleaner fuels. So now our focus is now to see if we can target also public institutions who are actually big consumers of biomass. We've started with schools and prisons, and a quite number of prisons. Maybe this is not a set indicator that we monitor all the time, but we could say we have a very good number of public institutions, especially schools, prisons, that are actually using now cleaner fuels, like briquettes and so forth. So moving forward, we're actually looking at our Energy Compact. We believe that this is the number we are able to achieve by 2030, because there is a lot of projects that we are implementing. Of course, focusing on what we call distribution, especially for tier 3 and tier 4 and 5, which is more on electric cooking, usage of LPG, and tier 3, tier 4, that actually focuses on usage of pellets and briquettes. So moving forward, you've also realized the challenge that as much as we are creating a room of people moving to more clean fuels, we have to do something when it comes to production of these fuels. So we're working with the private sector and other cooperatives to be able to see how we can be able to overcome the challenges when it comes to fuels itself. So this is the focus that we're looking at, and looking at the targets that we have in our own strategy that started last year in July, going to 2029. Of course, in alignment with the Energy Compact, we believe that we will be able to achieve our targets that we've set in the compact with regards to achieving access to modern clean cooking. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marian, for that overview of your compact. And now, Tony, I'll come to you. InfraCredit's Energy Compact, through your compact, you've committed to providing electricity to 100,000 underserved households and businesses in Nigeria. Can you share how this commitment is translating into action and what kind of partnerships or tools have been the most effective or important?
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm delighted to be here. So for the benefit of our listeners, InfraCredit is a specialized AAA rated financial institution operating out of Lagos, Nigeria. And we provide local currency, long tenure guarantees to businesses that meet our eligibility criteria. And that includes businesses in the DRE space or renewable energy space. So in May last year, sometime in mid-2024, InfraCredit made the commitment to support solar and PV expansion to plus 50 megawatts over the next 5 years or 6 years to 2030, and to energize 100,000 connections same to 2030. And that commitment is not just a pledge, it has translated into real projects, real transactions, and real developers who are working towards providing cheap, affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy to underserved and unserved communities in Nigeria. As we're well aware, Nigeria has a significant number of underserved communities and underserved people, running into tens of millions. And in addressing this, we need to look at the fundamental gaps that have led to this sort of negative indicator. And that's because there's been significant lack of investment over the last few decades on the grid in energy infrastructure projects. So what we've done is to provide our guarantees as a way of mobilizing capital, private capital from domestic institutional investors, and also attracting blended finance into the mix to enable this mini grid developers or DRE developers as a whole to be able to transition from projects to bankable transactions. As we're well aware, a lot of the DRE developers, unlike sector operators in the much more mature industries, maybe the oil and gas, a lot of these developers are micro, small and medium scale enterprises and are unable to self-fund investments or projects from the operating cash flows. So they require lending institutions to come in. And that is where sort of difficulties emerge because interest rates are high, repayment periods are short, and that is where InfraCredit steps in to provide our guarantees, which are irrevocable, as a gap to reassure lenders that the business model is workable and is feasible and is commercially viable. What we've done over this period, over the last couple of years, is to establish a key enabler, which has enabled us support developers in off-grid communities, and it's InfraCredit's climate finance blending facility, which is a pool of concessional first loss capital backed by FCDU and BII, and that has really enabled InfraCredit, together with these guarantees and productive use of energy additionalities, to approach lenders to de-risk these transactions and make them bankable of investment grade, so that these developers can attract necessary financing to bridge the significant energy deficits we have in Nigeria. We've also had instances where a lot of the early stage transactions or projects have significant gaps around project preparation or development. So InfraCredit has also partnered with reliable partners and co-created a facility called the DRIFT, which is a distributed renewable energy enhancement facility. And that was co-created with the World Bank and with the KfW, German, the REA, the GIAP, as a preparatory facility to some extent handhold these developers along the lines of their legal preparation, commercial preparation, financial preparation, ENS preparation, and essentially walk them through the entire process. So the DRIFT operates upstream of the lenders. So it engages these developers at an early stage and walks them through the bankability journey so that these transactions become of investment grade. So that when they approach lenders, it's almost like a plug and play. So that sort of fast tracks the entire process. So what we've done is to identify all the pain points from previous transactions and try to feed them into a loop of continuous improvement. So as we identify these gaps, it feeds right back into the pipeline. And in that way, we sort of compress the process in order to make the achievement of these commitments and goals more feasible and over shorter timelines. So our pipeline has grown significantly over the last couple of years. It currently stands at just over $600 million, comprising of over 63 projects at different stages of preparation towards financial close in InfraCredit's pipeline. In our energy portfolio, clean energy projects constitute about 17.5% and growing. And the plan is that for the next 20 to 25 years, that number will significantly grow to about 60 to 75%. So in a nutshell, that's how we've operated, and we continuously refine, identify new ways of de-risking these transactions, making them bankable and delivering outcomes. And let me speak a little bit about the impact of these projects, because oftentimes we talk a little more about the numbers. The 100,000 connections is just a number, but sometimes we need to see and experience the transformational impact of these projects and these investments in these communities. You go to communities that haven't had power supply or electricity over the last few decades, and you see their quality of lives improve. You see livelihoods improve. You see women get empowered. You see you even see health impacts manifest clearly, particularly as they transition from using kerosene lanterns and kerosene lamps to using renewable energy lights. Particularly as indoor air pollution has become the leading cause of death in sub-Saharan Africa. So by displacing kerosene lanterns and these sources of particulate matter and black soot that constitute respiratory impacts, then you see the multiplier effect of these investments across these unserved and underserved communities. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tony. And I think it's really important the work that you're doing. Like institutions like yours, we all know that there's many ways in which a lot of our energy compact proponents have commitments, but without the finance that backs it, a lot of these commitments will just remain as commitments and not implemented. So it's really important to have financial institutions like yourselves who are very much involved in this process and supporting the work that's happening in a lot of developing countries. I'll come back to Malawi, and like you mentioned, your energy compact commitments right now are focused on clean cooking, and you have plans to scale that up as well. But can you talk us a little bit about the next steps in terms of how you plan to scale that up and what are some of the important drivers? And also if you can talk a little bit about beyond clean cooking, what is it that Malawi is doing to close the gap with SDG7?
Okay. Thank you very much. In terms of the next step with regards to the issue of clean cooking, is that first of all, we have integrated the 2021 Energy Compact into what we are calling Mission 300 National Energy Compact for Malawi for enhancement in terms of resource mobilization. And number two, we identified a challenge actually in the green cooking to say that to source a capital is a problem. So together with the World Bank, under Ascent under Ascent Malawi project, we have been allocated 10 million US dollars. These 10 million US dollars has been split into two. 3 million will go to technical assistance. So we need to sanitize the green cooking market. So we'll do the update of standards, we'll adopt new ones, we'll do a lot of awareness campaigns and other technical assistance work revolving around monitoring and the evaluation of the projects in the clean cooking. Now, the remaining 7 million US dollars, that one we want to bridge the gap of financing capital that the stakeholders, the companies in the green cooking are facing. So what we are going to do, we are going to give out loans to companies so that at least they can reach out to 150,000 households with clean cooking solutions. Now, this loan, once we give it out, they will not retain it with their money from the pocket or the monies they generate from their businesses. They will just forfeit or they will give away carbon credit rights so that us as Ministry of Energy, through the fund that we have established, we aggregate those carbon credits and then use the proceeds after selling those carbon credits to offset the loans that the companies have taken from us. And if we have surplus, we also share with the companies. And this will do especially to the small companies that have got no capacity to enter into carbon market and participate there, selling their carbon credits. So that's a game changer in terms of dealing with the problems with sourcing capital finance for green cooking initiatives. And the other next step is actually to develop Malawi National Clean Cooking Strategy, which will identify the gaps that are there impeding the speedy adoption of clean cooking solutions, and the strategy will find solutions and perhaps draw what we call investment prospectus that can help us to seek financing and invest so that we speed up the access to clean cooking solutions. So the gaps that are there addressed by these measures that I've mentioned include one, the financing gaps that I've talked about. There is affordability gap, which also this World Bank initiative will address. And there is issue to do with the standards, outdated standards, and some technologies such as electric cooking devices, they don't have formal standards here in Malawi. So these measures will actually address those. Now, when we come to drivers, to accelerating the access to or adoption of clean cooking solutions, here in Malawi, at first and foremost, we have got a very high political will. Our government actually, starting from the presidency, they are well predisposed towards these issues of clean cooking. So we receive support, any type of support that we want from the political leaders. And number two is the issue of policy integration. Clean cooking issues, actually, we feel that the success that we have registered, and we feel that we are going to register more success because our policy environment now integrates well issues of clean cooking. As I'm talking now, we are reviewing national energy policy. There, we have introduced a priority area, which is tackling issues of clean cooking. So policy-wise, we are well integrated. Strategy-wise, we are developing. And the driver number two that we feel has contributed to success that we have had is massive awareness campaigns that we have had so far. We have been working with a lot of partners like GIZ, Self-Help Africa, United Purpose, and the other donors as well as companies. We have got actually what we call National Clean Cooking Steering Committee, which is a multi-stakeholder committee. In this, we do coordinate issues of awareness campaign, knowledge sharing. We do even lobby together with them. So through this platform, actually, we have done a lot of awareness campaigns in Malawi regarding the clean cooking issues and the benefits of using clean cooking issues versus the, out of favor 3-stone fire or open fire technologies. And another success is that Malawi has done well actually in terms of waiving taxes for clean cooking technologies. Currently, LPG and the biomass stoves are benefiting. This is actually a huge driver. From the time since we made these waivers on LPG, we have seen quite a huge increase in terms of people or households that are adopting LPG. So those are again the drivers that we see.
Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry, just in the interest of time, but thank you so much for your intervention. It's really encouraging to hear all the programs that Malawi is doing to accelerate the clean cooking transition in the country. So congratulations on all the progress so far, and we look forward to working with you on seeing the further progress that you have through this compact. I'm going to go to Rwanda next, just because I know Rwanda also, Marion, you mentioned your compact is also focused on clean cooking, and you talked a little bit about the progress and also a little bit about moving forward, your plans for moving forward. But if you can maybe just very quickly talk about some of what is the biggest barrier that you see preventing this faster adoption of clean cooking? And what are some of the actions that you're taking to prioritize overcoming these barriers? And just in the interest of time, if I can ask the panelists to just do this round of questions, maybe in 2 to 3 minutes, that would be highly appreciated. So Marion, over to you.
Yeah, I think, thank you so much. Of course, we share the same issues all over Africa. My colleague from Malawi clearly mentioned all the challenges that we're facing. One, of course, when it comes to affordability issues on the side of our people, but of course, with the support from partners, we've worked on what we call RBFs, result-based financing. We're trying to actually provide subsidies for households who are unable to get cleaner stoves. And another thing, which is a big challenge, of course, is about behavior change. You know, these people have been cooking on 3 stones, using charcoals and so forth. And transitioning totally to clean fuels or improved cook stoves requires a robust awareness. Of course, we're working with the Ministry of Health to give out information as to why they need to move and to move cleaner fuels, giving them the numbers of, you know, the effects of you know, of not using cleaner fuels when it comes to health issues. We are working with the Ministry of Environment to see, you know, for issues of deforestation and, of course, cleaner fuels, reduction of carbon emissions and so forth. So basically, the financial gap is still there, but with partners, we've managed to mobilize quite good financing, which we think we'll use as we move forward to achieve our targets. We are looking at leveraging on the carbon revenues, because on our projects, we are intentionally designing on where we could be able to sell the carbon credits, just to keep this funding revolving, to be able to, you know, to scale up either in fuel production, as earlier mentioned, because we have done well when it comes to campaigns on moving to what we call tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5. But of course, as we actually sensitize people to move to these clean fuels, we have to be mindful that the fuels also are available. As earlier mentioned, that we are trying to support private companies, because really we can't achieve this without private companies. We need to work with them, provide them financing for when it comes to production of fuels. So, well, I think for the affordability, we are looking at RBFs. For continuous financing, closing the financing gap, we are working with partners, but we are mindful that we need to leverage on the carbon revenues, and that is what we are doing. And then for behavioral change, we have engaged very much with other partners and stakeholders to put outside awareness campaigns on why people need to move forward to clean fuels. But we have intentionally targeted the institutions. When we are talking about institutions, they are the first people actually using a lot of, you know, unclean fuels, still using firewood. And so we are looking at how we can move to biogas, just total away from the biomass. And we are doing it so intentionally, working with them. And of course, in the long term, the government of Rwanda is looking at local CNH production as we move forward to 2030. These are major efforts that are being done, but we know there is a very big gap when it comes to, you know, to achieving these targets vis-a-vis the financing that is available. But we hope with intentions that the government of Rwanda is actually willing to achieve these targets. And we see there is an effort from the government side through the Ministry of Finance to be able to mobilize resources for clean cooking, which has not been the trend in the past. So we hope by 2030 we'll be reporting a very good number, especially that now people understand the benefits of moving to more clean fuels. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I know the compact has been coordinated by the Ministry of Infrastructure, but it's really good to hear that the Ministry of Finance is also involved in terms of funding some of these projects. And I think that's really important.
Maybe to add on that, as my colleague said, we're going to have, as I said, on Mission 300, we are also going to have another energy compact. Of course, it's more on access to universal access, but we are mindful that in this compact, we also need to hit on the targets of clean cooking. So it will help us to mobilize more funding from all the partners who are committed to the Mission 300. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Simon, I'll come to you next. Just in terms of looking ahead on your compact and the commitments that you have under this, what do you think are what is the single most important enabler, whether it's policy or investment or reform that you will push for in the next year to unlock offshore wind at scale in emerging markets?
I hope you can hear me. Yes,
Yes.
thank you for that, I think, quite critical question. I think looking ahead, one of the enabler we've been working on, but that would be fundamental, is to champion the creation of bankability through what we call for Goa strategic de-risking. In a nutshell, Goa singular focus is to serve as a global platform to bring government, but also development financial institutions and the industry together to create this bankable framework, but market by market. This is about transforming a high potential resource from a near shore to the deep sea into low risk asset class. And this is how the compact will unlock offshore wind at scale. And let me be very clear about what that means. And it's not just one thing. It is essentially the integrated package that makes a new market, investable for the scale of what we heard from the banks, from the investors, basically what private capital needs. We already know that offshore wind capacity must almost triple by 2030 to stay on the positive track. And that capital they represent this tripling will not flow to emerging market based on potential alone. It needs to flow where risk is understood and managed. And Goa has been doing this work with a lot of developing nations. Therefore, the priority is to systematically dismantle the wall of risk that makes capital more expensive, the cost of capital, or just simply unavailable, for example, in the case of African-led offshore wind project there. And this is where we are working with Goa on long-term certainty that typically investor will crave for, and working with government to understand how they can be supported to build this predictable pipeline of project through, for example, a rolling auction schedule. And secondly, and I want to stress this, it's also for emerging market is the strategic deployment of blended finance. And here we need to be pragmatic. The first few pioneering projects in any market will face higher perceived risk and therefore higher cost. And public and concessional finance is this indispensable tool to bridge this gap. And this is not about subsidy, this is about catalyze. And Goa and the Energy Compact we created is about supporting country to understand how to better use development finance to underwrite specific risk for the market. It can be currency hedging, can be green infrastructure, or for example, in many countries we've been in contact, it's counterparty creditworthiness, and to a point where actually commercial lenders can enter the market with confidence. So while policy reform, permitting, and investment are all vital, they are a component of a single objective. You can have the best policy on paper, but without a bankable revenue stream and also a de-risk financial structure, project will continue to stall.
Thank you for that. And I think that gives us a good segue for me to give the last question to Tony is, as you scale up the work that you're doing, what's the next big milestone or policy or financing changes that you're targeting in order to accelerate delivery? And if I can request you to maybe restrict your response to like 2 to 3 minutes at the most. But yes, over to you.
Sure. I'll keep it short. So I would say what we've achieved so far, we've achieved through partnerships. The CFBF, the Climate Finance Blending Facility, the DRE Enhancement Facility have all been through partnerships. And we've seen the catalytic effect it's had, or it's having in this project across multiple transactions. So just to borrow a leaf from what Simon had said, the key enabler is to de-risk and to crowd in capital, private capital. So with increased understanding of risk, particularly in emerging markets in sub-Saharan Africa, then the appetite to invest in the DRE asset class increases. And there's a large pool of capital available to pension funds, insurance, insurers, and asset managers. So it's important we identify tools and platforms to make investments in renewable energy more bankable, more investor friendly. So in that way, private capital together with concessional finance can flow in to de-risk, lower the cost of capital for these developers, increase repayment period, because they do need patient capital, not capital that is in a hurry, so to speak. So with partnerships, increased partnerships, increased identification and understanding of risks, lowering of interest rates, then I think we'll be on a good track to achieve significant milestones over the next few months and years. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Tony. And I like what you said about whatever you've achieved through partnerships. And I think that is, if I can sum up the work that we're doing with the Energy Compacts, I think that the power of partnerships is really comes through very strongly through a lot of our compacts, even if they're individual compacts that countries or organizations have. A lot of the implementation happens through partnerships, and this kind of collaborative spirit is what will push the needle towards us achieving our SDG7 goals through to 2030. I'm going to thank Tony, thank you, and also thank the rest of our panelists for joining us today for this discussion. On that note of partnerships, I'm going to move into the next part of the webinar that we have. We have a presentation from one of our multi-stakeholder compacts, and Liz Nelson, representing the Council of Engineers for the Energy Transition on behalf of SDSN and UNIDO, will now do a short presentation on the work we've been doing with the Green Hydrogen Task Force. Liz, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Divya, for that introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. And I'd like to also extend my thanks to the broader SE4All team for inviting me to spotlight this work. So as Divya mentioned, my name is Liz Nelson, and I'm a member of the Secretariat of the Council of Engineers for the Energy Transition, known as the SEAT. So for a bit of quick background on the SEAT operates under the auspices of the United Nations Secretary General. It is a global high-level body of engineers and energy systems experts that support the Secretary General's goal of building a coalition to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. The SEAT is co-chaired by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, and the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, SDSN. So today I'll be spotlighting an initiative that the SEAT is co-leading with SE4All's 24/7 Carbon-Free Energy Compact, known as the Green Hydrogen Task Force. So in 2024, when the COP29 presidency unveiled a groundbreaking declaration to accelerate the deployment of green hydrogen and its derivatives, the task force was launched to help address the challenges and identify quick wins in the sector. And particularly, we recognize that green hydrogen has a key role in advancing 24/7 carbon-free energy goals. So since then, the task force has brought together members of the 24/7 Carbon-Free Energy Compact and the SEAT ahead of COP30, engaging on the technical, financial, and regulatory measures that are needed to unlock the green hydrogen market globally. So the insights from these discussions have been synthesized into 9 key recommendations for the sector, which you can see outlined on the slide here. These recommendations will be featured in an issue brief that will be launched at COP30 and will offer hopefully actionable strategies to inform the UN Executive Office of the Secretary General, as well as industry leaders, financial stakeholders, and other policymakers. So for today, I just want to highlight the breadth of these themes, mentioning that they range from strengthening hydrogen infrastructure and stimulating demand, designing smarter financing mechanisms, trade frameworks, and other regulatory tools that can help make green hydrogen truly competitive worldwide. And lastly, I'll also share 2 upcoming events at COP30 on this topic and the work of the Green Hydrogen Task Force. So first, we will host the official launch of the recommendations document on the morning of 14th November at the UNFCCC Global Innovation Hub Pavilion. And then later that day, we'll also hold a more technical panel at the SDG Pavilion, which will focus on regional cooperation, investment opportunities, and other innovation pathways. So we invite those that are attending COP30 to join us, engage with our team and our council members that will be on the ground. If you plan to be there, please feel free to reach out to the Seat Secretariat. The contact email is on this slide. And with that, Divya, I will hand it back over to you.
Thank you, Liz. And like Liz said, if any of you will be at COP, I would encourage you to find out more about this event, and hopefully you can be there as well. And finally, in closing, I'm going to invite Martin Nemitz from the UN Energy Secretariat at UN DESA to give us closing remarks and also a call to action.
Thank you very much, Divya. It's a great pleasure to be here and to listen to the panel and all the fascinating information that was shared. Wrapping up, I want to start first of all by saying thank you to all of you for your time, your ideas, and most importantly, your commitments to bring clean and affordable energy to everyone across the continent and indeed beyond. As we heard at the beginning of the meeting, the level of total commitments raised through energy compacts is certainly very encouraging. We currently stand at 1.6 trillion US dollars. So that's a big number. But of course, we need much more. We've heard inspiring examples of energy compacts today in the session from Malawi and Rwanda, from InfraCredit, the Global Offshore Wind Alliance, and the Council of Engineers for the Energy Transition just now. And I mean, all of this is really proof that progress is happening, and it's proof that we're getting somewhere, and that for Africa, there's a bright energy future. The Energy Compact framework, which is facilitated by UN Energy, gives us a shared space to bring all of these efforts together, and it helps us to connect these ambitions with concrete action and ideas with investments. And as mentioned, we have all these commitments. We know there's much more to do to reach universal access by 2030. We need to keep pushing, more finance, share technologies, and just make sure the energy transition leaves no one behind, which does include also raising more commitments. And I do encourage all of you on the call who do not yet have energy compacts to consider energy compacts for your own. It's an important step, but even more importantly is then also to make sure that these commitments result in action. And one thing we do also from our side, certainly we will continue to track progress and impact. And generally, UN Energy will continue to be your partner in this journey. We will continue to convene, to connect, and to help scale up, to identify and help scale up what works. And also importantly, we will bring the progress achieved with the help of your energy compacts to the attention of global policymakers. And this includes the review of SDG7 at next year's high-level political forum on sustainable development. So in closing, just want to emphasize that let's keep building partnerships, turning commitments into concrete results, and to light up lives across Africa together. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you once again to all our panelists and presenters and our audience today for being a part of this webinar. And we've put all of the information in the chat and emails and ways that you can get in touch or submit a new compact, and we would look forward to hearing from you. Thank you once again, and have a good day or evening wherever you are. Thank you.